Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. There's a big SSBCI update today. Over $200 million across 3 states now have plans for distribution. So if you're a small business owner or entrepreneur and you could use funding, especially now, I'm going to talk about this $200 million, these 3 new states, and give a quick recap of the other states that have funding available. As always, thanks so much for tuning in and subscribing. This is currently one of the biggest funding sources from the government geared towards helping small business owners. I'll talk about the new changes and what you can do if you could use some of this $10 billion. Be sure to watch until the end for our bonus $1,000 grants. And if you support this information, hit the like button. Let's try to get to over 1,000 likes. Before I talk about the 3 new states and their SSBCI funding, I want to take a step back and talk about what this $10 billion is, how it came about, who's it geared towards. This was signed into law as part of the American Rescue Plan Act to help underserved businesses who have trouble getting funding elsewhere. The federal government approved $10 billion. All 50 states, DC, territories, tribal governments applied for part of this funding. Now, most states have been approved for funding, and about a dozen states are starting to approve funding directly to small business owners. To be honest, it's not the most straightforward program. That's why we've been focused on this for the past 6 months. If you search SSBCI funding, we're one of the top search results here. You can also go to helloskip.com/SSBCI to see the full rundown of all the states, which states are approved, which states aren't approved yet, and which states are currently accepting applications. That's important because this money is first come, first serve. These are finite amounts of money that states have been approved for primarily 3 things: loans, loan collateral, and equity investments, or VC. These are not grants. That's important to keep in mind. This is financing that you will have to pay back either with interest or with ownership of your company. At the moment, 38 states have been approved for SSBCI funding, and 10 states are accepting SSBCI applications. Let me quickly do the rundown of states that have been approved, and if you hear your state, drop it in the comments. Would love to hear, because besides SSBCI, frankly, there are other options out there. So if you want to find out about these programs, or you want to compare this funding versus, let's say, other SBA funding options, other private funding options, you can always book a time to talk to us. Go to talktoskip.com or use the links in the description. So as of today, what's been approved: Arizona, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Mexico, rounding things out, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Dakota, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, and West Virginia. Those states have been approved for funding. They are currently designing their programs and how they will accept applications. And here are the 10 states that are currently accepting applications. So listen carefully in case you're in one of these states: Alaska, California, Colorado, Hawaii, Kansas, Maine, Maryland, Michigan, Montana, New York, Pennsylvania, and South Carolina. Now, for the new news today, first with Louisiana. Louisiana was approved for $113 million, and they have just detailed the types of programs they'll have. Let me quickly read to you what they will be supporting. In fact, this is one of the better websites we've seen. Again, it's kind of a mess out there. That's why we spend a lot of time interpreting what states are doing and how they're getting this funding out to small business owners. They're doing microlending. This is smaller financing from $1,000 to $100,000. They're doing collateral support up to $250,000, cash collateral support for $1 million maximum loans. They're doing small business loan guarantees up to 80% or $1.5 million max guarantee. They're doing seed capital. This is a 1-to-1 match, matching $5 million per fund. They're doing a 4-to-1 match there on for-profits, max $10 million per fund, and a 2-to-1 match for nonprofits, max $10 million per fund as well. That's in Louisiana for the $113 million that the state has received from the Treasury. Next up is Alaska. Previously, Alaska reported they had been approved for $60 million. They're finally detailing more about the program. Last Friday, the Alaska SBDC announced the launch of the first of these programs with the release of a $10 million equity fund RFP. So they are taking proposals now from qualified investors and investment groups who will get part of this $10 million and then use that to equity invest in small businesses and companies. So things are moving there. And by the way, these are overall good signs that in the coming weeks and months, we're going to see a lot more come out from these states, including directions, what you can do as a small business owner, which lenders or investors to go through who've received some of this funding. And finally, today, before I talk about our $1,000 grants as a bonus, Rhode Island has been approved for $62 million. This is new. In fact, it's so new, the Treasury Department hasn't even issued a press release yet, but this is directly from lawmakers in Rhode Island, specifically Reed, Whitehouse, and Cicilline. Those three praised the U.S. Treasury's approval of Rhode Island's application to receive $62 million. Because this is new for Rhode Island, they've issued a request for proposal to identify partners and launch SSBCI funded programs later in 2023 and beyond. So still in a holding pattern there, but the fact that they've been approved is a good sign. Take a look at all these programs again, helloskip.com/SSBCI, or if you want to talk to us, comparing, let's say, SSBCI to SBA's program 7A 504 microloans to private lenders, private financing, or grants, go to talktoskip.com. And finally, if you want to enter our ongoing $1,000 grants, remember, we've been donating our YouTube revenue for over 2.5 years back to you, subscribers of this channel. You can enter our January 2023 grants. Go to helloskip.com/1K. It's free to enter, takes a few seconds. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.